We found a bat that was hanging around, literally hanging around over at the garage here under the shelter on the eaves trough here at the Mixed Studios. And now, Elaine, I understand you're the bat expert here.
I'm not an expert, but I do the rehab for bats.
Okay. Of the three of us standing here, you're the expert.
Okay.
Okay. So tell us what type of bat. I put a picture of it on our Mixed Facebook page. What type of bat is that?
Yeah, that's a silver-haired bat. They're a solitary bat that usually migrates south of the border for winter. They go somewhere where it's nice and warm for the winter and then come back up in the spring and usually have their babies up here and then go back down in the fall again. So
Now, people are generally scared of bats. Should they be?
well, it's a good thing not to be handling bats because they are a carrier of rabies, and they'll go down south, and that's where they pick up the rabies and bring it back up here. So usually, if you see a bat, it's not a good thing to be letting your kids, touch it or get close to it. But if you see one, you can always just get it put somewhere in a safe place where animals can't get at it or your kids can't get at it. Get it scooped up with gloves on in a towel, put it into a box, and call Wildlife Haven.
Okay, because I've had to do that once before. I remember when I was in high school. Michelle and I were just talking about this earlier. There was a bat in the hallways, and I had to go get a leather glove, grab it off the wall, careful with the wings, and then we just released it outside. But
Yeah.
is it a good idea, instead of just releasing it again, to call you guys?
It's probably a good idea because if you're seeing it, it's probably cold, hungry. Usually, like we've had a terrible spring again for bats. It's probably been about the third spring in a row where there hasn't been any insects happening. It's been cold temperatures. Bats like to hunt in +10 evenings, things like that.
Okay.
So if they come up here and there's no bugs, there's no warm temperatures, they're not happy campers, they're hungry because they've had this big flight all the way up from the States, and they're literally, could be starving.
Yeah.
So
And they're here in spring already, and really the bugs just come out in the last couple of weeks.
that's right.
But they are our friends when it comes to mosquitoes.
You betcha. They love to eat mosquitoes. They love to eat insects.
How much does a bat eat? Like I hear they eat their own weight in bugs.
They'll eat thousands of mosquitoes, because a mosquito's a tiny thing.
Yeah.
If
You
they
gotta eat
can
a lot.
Yeah, they'll eat a lot. So they usually what they do in the evening, early evening, is they'll go out and they'll, catch as many insects as they can, and then they'll sit and digest over the evening, and then usually before sunrise again, they'll go out because that's when the bugs are out.
Okay.
And then they'll sleep during the day. They'll try to find a warm spot during the day where they can help digest and be warm and happy, and then do it all again in the evening. So,
How many different types of bats do we have out here in southeastern Manitoba?
in Manitoba, we've got 6 species of bats. 5 of them are the most common. There's the little brown bats, the big brown bats, which are colony bats. So they're the ones that you'd find living in your, cottage rooftops.
They'll be
and
bunched
things
up
like
in a
that.
little group up in the corner.
They'll be in groups. The silver-haired bat is a solitary bat, the one that you guys had on your wall. So you won't see large numbers of them together. There might be a couple females together or something, or a mom with her family.
Right.
And that's about it. And then we have hoary bats, which is the largest bat. Very territorial. They won't allow another bat in their territory, which is around 2 kilometers wide in their hunting territory. So if there's another bat, it won't be there very long with them.
Yeah.
So, and then its cousin is the red bat, which is a beautiful little chestnut-colored bat, and it's solitary as well, like the hoary bat. And then there's the long-eared bat, the northern long-eared bat, which you don't see a lot of, but they're here too.
Now, you actually brought a bat into the studios.
I did.
Michelle Sawatsky ran out of the room. Tell us about this bat that you've brought in this cooler.
This is a bat that I had to winter over the winter. It had an injury to its wing, so it needs to have some flight time before I can release her. And hopefully she will be releasable. If she's not releasable, I hope that maybe we can get her down to a bat sanctuary down in the States or something like that. We'll just have to see how this summer goes with her, and we'll hope for the best. So I've had her all winter, actually.
How many different bats do you have there at the center, the Wildlife Haven?
No bats at the center.
None right now.
Well, just this one that you have for the rehab?
We see very few every year.
Okay.
Elaine is actually essentially the only person who rehabilitates them. Because they're such a sensitive patient, they go to one person who has done this for years. And because they are escape artists, we try not to keep them in the general housing with other patients because they will go missing.
Yeah.
And it's chaos. They're little Houdinis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing this little bat here to our studios and shedding a little light on this on these creatures of the night.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.